earlier that you're not overly concerned about point production from the point guard position, but just as defensively from the backcourt's end and the front court, what's contributing to those breakdowns just as far as stopping the other
Well,
point guard?
yeah, I mean, you guys got to understand that if my point guard can average 25 points a game,
Right.
okay, I'll take it.
Right.
But that's not who we have, nor is it really the type of team that we have, nor the system that we have. So as long as our point guards are efficient, which they are starting to be efficient because they're starting to get a comfort level of what we're doing, and not only are they efficient, but they can put guys in the right spot because I don't want to have to call a play or orchestrate what we're doing offensively the whole game. I'm hoping to put most of it in their hands, which they're getting more comfortable doing because I'm getting comfortable with the team and I'm giving them more ownership and they're receiving it the right way. So it's not necessarily about those guys scoring a whole bunch of points that I'm worried about. The other team, obviously, what they do is they're playing pick and roll, and when they get to playing pick and roll, at times their point guard, if he has some quickness or some craftiness, is going to be able to score. In the last two games, I've coached this way all the time. I don't care if you're a point guard, a two guard, a big guy. If we play a team and like in New York, we play a team and one guy has 40, but they shoot 42-5 and they score 92 points. Really, I think we're going to win, and I'm okay with it. I don't. If one guy is killing us and nobody else is hurting you really bad, then sometimes you let that go because you think you can win a game like that, especially holding them to that percentage. And similar to Toronto, Jose Calderon was going off, but their bigs were non-factors. Now, we could have helped our guys out probably a little more by blitzing Calderon, out on the floor and making them throw to Aaron Gray or making them throw to, Ed Davis or whoever else, Amir Johnson. And we did that at the end of the game and to try to get the ball out of his hands. But I'm okay with the guy going off as long as they're not running away with the game.
So is it more about improving the other areas than necessarily being concerned about defending point guards per se?
Yeah, and maybe I'm wrong. I haven't looked at the history of it or all the teams we played. But, in the last two games, I think it's the last two games, we've gotten hurt, defending the point. And it's been in pick and roll. But that's to be expected throughout the course of the season at times. I go back and just after watching the Knick game and talking to Drew, and I wish I would have picked up on this earlier, but Drew was not at his best. He was tired from the night before. Not only was he tired, the whole team was. And you got to give the Knicks credit because they're playing good basketball. The crowd was behind them and so on and so forth. But, I was hot after that game until I watched our next opponent, which is the Toronto Raptors. And after watching Toronto's last game, I took a deep breath and I relaxed a little bit because Toronto, their next opponent was Boston, and Boston looked worse than what we did, So, and Doc basically said the same thing, and he felt the same thing, and so stuff like that's going to happen in this condensed season, and that's when you just kind of file away, and you hope that you can get a little bit better from it.
Right. What did you learn these past 10 days about your team?
They're pretty resilient, and I say that because we started off on a high note, beating Denver, and then we went into Utah, and I didn't help them out there, and we lose that game, and then we turn around and we lose the Philly game, and really we could have just said, you know what, man, I just want to go home. This is we got 3 more games. Not only that, we're going into the Garden, the Boston Garden, and we're playing the Celtics, and they won 9 out of 10, and could have been a lot of excuses that we had, but our guys fought, and and then they tried to figure it out in New York the next night. We didn't, and they went to Toronto and fought. We're down 4 after controlling the whole game with a minute and change left, and not one guy panicked. Everybody just kept kind of staying at it, and I'll never forget Meta came over to me. We were down 4, and he was like, Coach, let me guard Calderon. And I was like, why? And he goes, yeah, well, because it's, 4-point game. I need to stop him. I'll stop him. I was like, man, we got plenty of time. We're going to be all right. And he goes, yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's just keep doing what we're doing and we'll win by, I don't know how many we'll just win. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And so that's kind of what we did. We just kept staying with it. We went out and we won, but there was no panic or whatever. And you got a guy like Kobe for situations like that, and he steps up and makes some shots that not many other people can, and you rely on your defense, and you get a win. And you want to be better than 3-3, but to go home at 3-3 at this point, I told our guys they got to remember that, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon, and I'm not a short-term thinker. I try not to be a short-term thinker. Sometimes it creeps up on me, but I'm in it for the long haul, and I expect our guys are too. So that resilience that I saw on this trip was good to be around.
At what point in the season do you feel, just from your own end, that the results are going to matter more in terms of looking at the big picture?
Well, no, don't get me. I think the results for us have to matter more now because we can't.
Okay.
I don't want to get into a hole. If we had a 6-7 game cushion right now, would I be okay taking some losses and trying to teach and coach from losing a game that we could have won, but it wouldn't have been right for us to win? I'd do that. But we're at a point now where we got to figure out how to win games, and while we're figuring out how to win games, we still got to take steps forward. And I felt like we did that this whole trip. I mean, we could have, our record could have gone either way on this trip. I mean, John Black, and I agree, he came up to me and we thought this as a staff, but he said, hey, we could have been 1-5 on the trip or 6-0 on the trip. And I was like, yeah, that's how we felt as a staff. And the neat part about it is, for me, that's that resilience that I was talking about. Is we gave ourselves a chance. We never just threw our hands up and said, hey, whatever, let's just go home, or let's just go back to the hotel, or let's just get this trip over. These guys are pros, these guys are champions. They just stuck with it, and I truly believe we got a little better this trip.
Fourth quarter throughout the road trip saw some offensive problems down the stretch, difficulty.
Yeah.
I think for the whole team getting shots, but also Kobe finding his. What, if anything, did you notice that changes?
Well, there's a couple reasons for that. I think as you guys, can see throughout the course of games now, you can see we can have a nice offensive flow. And when things are right and guys have the floor space correctly, they're moving bodies, they're moving the ball, we'll be able to generate some great looks for us. But that's early in the game because teams are kind of getting a feel for one another. As the game goes on and it's a tighter ball game down the stretch, there are a lot of factors that come into play now. Now the crowd's giving the home team energy, so the defense amps up 50 times what it was at the beginning of the game. And so things are harder to do. The officials are doing their job by letting us play and letting the other team play, so it's a little bit more physical, so your cuts aren't as free because you're getting bumped off course, your screens aren't as good because guys are running through them. So now you have to really execute better down the stretch in tight ball games, and that's, in my opinion on it, that's where a team like San Antonio, a team like Boston, those teams are at an advantage because they've had end-of-game situations for the last 5 years with the same group of or same core guys. And the reality of it is we're still figuring that out as we speak now of what type of flow we want at the end of the game.
Does that play into a lot of times Kobe ending up a little bit more ISO towards the end of the game than he might in the beginning?
Yeah. But the first thing is he's our closer. It's no secret. But we have other guys that we feel that can make shots. Having said that, yes, when you don't know what to do, or somebody gets knocked off track here and you forget what the third and fourth option is, forget what the third and fourth option is, it's easy to say, hey, Cole, help us out, And so until we can get to a point where we really have that figured out, which we're getting closer to, it's going to be like that for a little bit.
We're almost halfway to the season now. What would you say is the biggest unanswered question you have about this team?
That's a great question. I'd have to think about that. I don't know. I don't know if I could think of one particular thing, about that. But it'd be something I'd have to spend some time thinking about. I feel like I have a good feel for the team, Now it's just making sure that we're in a lot of different situations and executing the right way so that we have the belief. Does that make sense? You know, like the end of the game, we feel like we know what we want to do and run at the end of the game. As you can see right here, end of game plays. So we feel like we know what we want to do based on.
Does green mean Kobe?
Well, yes, as you can see, there's a lot of green. Well, no, but here's Kobe's there, Andrew Powell, Meta, so. No, he's got it already. So try not to show it too much because then people will see our play card. Oh, good.
They probably figured out the Kobe part anyway.
Yeah, no. But as you can see, I mean, we feel like we have a game plan. We just got to get to a point where we've been able to execute it in tough environments, time after time after time, and have some success. And the reality of it is that's why I didn't like going down 4 against Toronto, but it was great to go down 4 against Toronto and find a way to not panic, but stay the course, and get a win. Because now it not only obviously does it chalk a win up on the win column, but it gives guys a little bit more belief in what they're trying to do.
Get him out of here, guys.
Thank you.